we go. All right, go ahead. You can get it started.
All right, perfect. How everybody doing tonight? Back with Casket Ready, here with Tawana. So we're gonna have a good topic tonight. What's tonight's topic?
Oh, you said.
Actually, it's like life insurance. It still saved our life. We gonna roll with it. We gonna roll with it.
Right. But today we're going to talk about how life insurance can pay for college for your children.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Russell. Let's get it started.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. It's one of those things where again a lot of people talk about life insurance and they think it's just about death and somebody dying.
Mm-hmm.
But today's day and age is super advanced, meaning
Right.
that you can use life insurance to do all kinds of stuff like paying for your kids' college, retirement,
Mm-hmm.
putting a down payment on a house, a mortgage. But let's just stick to the kids. You know, if your son he went to college, right?
Yes, he did.
And he has a degree, right?
Yes, he does.
How much that cost you?
Let's talk about student loan debt.
Mm-hmm.
Had I known about the IUL policies, we would not be in no student loan debt. So, because I am the parent that sacrificed for my child, I did parent student loan.
Okay.
Right? So he applied for financial aid. He has his own loans, but there's only but so much that they'll let a student take out, right? So with there being a balance after his own financial aid and his own loans, it was still too much for us to cover out of pocket.
Gotcha.
So they do have the option for the parents to take out a loan to cover the difference for your child.
Okay.
So on top of my own student loans, I took out additional student loans for my son throughout his whole 5 years of college.
He went 5 years? Why you went for 5 years for?
Okay, so the first 4, of course, is for your bachelor's.
Yeah.
And then the college had a program where you can go for that 5th year to graduate with your master's.
Oh, okay.
So he took that extra year to get his master's. So I made sure that I took out loans for all 5 years.
Okay.
On top of the loans that I had already for myself.
Wow. So let's do some quick math in general around what's the ballpark between his loans and your loans. Just a general idea. You don't have to give us exact numbers.
Jeez. Okay. So, I'm totally transparent. I can tell you how much. So between his loans and my loans, I'm probably about $90K in student loan debt.
Woof. Jesus.
Right. Woof. $90K. I would say probably about maybe half and half. Mine, half is his. Yeah. Okay. Somewhere in between them, not too much of a difference, about half and half, maybe 60-40 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes, that's what some parents do.
I mean, he better be using that degree. That's all I'm gonna say.
That part, I will say that his degree determines the factor in how much he's getting paid at his current job, right?
Okay.
So he do get that extra because of the degrees that he has, because he has his bachelor's and his master's.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm glad we're talking about that, though, because with these policies that we do, it actually helps pay for some of those costs at the end of the day. So you said 45 on him and 45 on you, roughly. So the next thing I want to do is for us to go over the videos and look at those numbers on how it can really pay out. So I don't know if you want to throw the video on real quick.
Sure. Let's see.
Overfund that policy by $205 every single month.
There we go.
For the next 50 years.
Okay.
You would have.
Let's take a look at the numbers now.
All right.
That if you just paid if you overfund that policy by $205.
Perfect. Okay. So we did the one video of showing. I want to freeze that number. Yeah, that number.
This number right here.
Yes. Yeah, so let's keep that. Let's keep that on the screen real quick.
Okay.
So everybody is wondering what are those numbers? So we're not gonna lie to you. That's not the numbers at 18. That'd be insanity.
Right.
But why kids should have policies is because at the age, this is a policy based off the age of 7 years old that they got. And this child at 7 years old, this policy was $200 a month. And by the time they reached the age of 65, what's that number? They got 1.52759. So that's not thousand, but $1,527,259. No, 1.527.
Get it right,
Brian. Exactly. 1.5 million to 259.
1,532,174.
There you go.
Let's just 1.5 mil.
There you
Just
go.
put
There
it
you
like
go.
that.
1.5. So, and I want to highlight that because that's kind of crazy. So that means you get your kid a policy, and by the time their retirement age, they're walking away $1.5 million and only an investment of pretty much $2,000 a year from now to the age of 65.
Right.
Which is crazy math.
Right.
Crazy math. And you can take it off the screen now. We're going to bring it back later on because people want to see these numbers again. But that's huge, though, because even with the illustration that we did before, at 18, the kid was able to borrow something close to like maybe $40,000.
Correct.
If you started at 7 years old.
Correct.
So at the very least, at that amount, $40K, wouldn't that be a huge benefit right now?
Exactly. A huge benefit to even put down for like the first couple of years of college. I'm pretty sure from now it's going to be a lot more expensive than that. But that's the whole point of, and this is showing you overfunding the insurance policy, right? So overfunding it is the key to this type of policy. Yes, it's a death benefit plus the amount of money that you're making, you have as your own savings. But overfunding it that's the whole point of this policy, is to overfund it, if you get it.
Yeah. So to keep it simple, $200 a month gets you $40K by the time your kid is 18, starting at the age of 7.
Correct.
Which is crazy. And that paid for half the college. And we know the average person graduates with $100K in student loan debt. So that means that if you can even put more money now, $200 is affordable. With all the bills we got all night, everybody's hairdos, nails. I'm not gonna take those shots. But if you got kids and you can set aside $200 a month, it's half of college being paid for, which is amazing.
Right.
You can't beat that. And those numbers double, meaning that if you got 2 of those policies, that's $80,000. Their whole college paid for only $400 a month from now.
Right.
That's insanity. Wouldn't you have done this if you had a chance?
Exactly. And the whole point of us talking about it is because we didn't know. If we had known that, we would have done it for our kids when they were younger, right? Started at the age of 7, like then. But the whole point of us but educating and promoting it is because now it can start with your generation, right? Prime example, I was at a gender reveal and sitting there with a couple. They had 2 little ones. I think one had to be maybe 5 or 6. The other one was a younger one, more of a toddler, so probably like 2 years old. And was sitting there with my son and his friends, so I was there with them. And, they were talking about them as a couple and, things that the kids was doing in the house and, how my son and his friend, they don't have kids yet. And so they say, they was talking about how, how expensive it could be raising a kid. Like, things is expensive, this and that. So being prepared and ready. And it's like, are you ever ready to have a kid? Like nobody's ever really financially ready to have a kid, right? Kids are expensive. So as I'm listening to them talk and he's saying that, and so he says to my son, so make sure you be ready, to have when you have that kid and stuff. And I'm like, oh no, we got this covered. Like he gonna be ready because you know what? As soon as he's ready to start that family, we get in that IUL life insurance policy, so he won't have to come out his pocket for college. Or if that child wants to just go and pick up a trade or whatever the case may be, that money can go towards a car. That money can go towards down payment on a house or whatever. I was like, the whole point is to break that cycle, right? I wouldn't want my son to have to take out a parent student loan like how I did. Like, so the point is breaking that generational cycle. So each year, our children should be doing better than us, educated. So now that he understands the importance of life insurance and different policies and stuff, he has it set in place for himself, and then he will have it set in place for his family and generations to come.
And I want to touch on that because it's key, because just for, again, $200 a month, you can really set your child up future. Like, it's one of those things with these policies, say in that situation, at the 18 month, you take out that $40,000 or $80,000, depending on how much you put in there. By the time they still retire, they may not have 1.5 million, but they're going to have like 1.3 million. What you can't beat that. And if they want to take out money, say mid-age, maybe 35, 40, it might be around like $400,000 or $500,000. So whether that child is trying to buy. And by that time, listen, my kid is paying for his policy by that point. I ain't paying for no more. I give it to about 25. That's about it max.
Right.
But at that midpoint in life, because you know the 20s and 30s are the hardest ages. Mm-hmm. You're trying to find yourself as an adult. Mm-hmm. You know, you just finished college or whatever you're doing. You know, now you got to get the house. Now you may have kids, and you don't even got the first penny to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're struggling. But with these type of policies, at every major checkpoint in your life, you could take out money.
That's true.
And still leave all that money for your kid. Personally, when I see one of these policies, I want to punch my father in the face personally. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I was like, if you would have got this, I'd have been good right now.
Nah, on your father's behalf, he knew about policies because you already told us a story about how he had like 5, 6 different policies. You had to kind of like
15.
15. Oh yeah. Oh wait, even more. So like he already knew something about it.
Yeah, I'm just busting shots. See your point, you're right though. But that's why we do what we do, so you can get the right type of policy and make it beneficial, because that's the difference right there. Mm-hmm. With that same story, like I said, we was able to take out a good amount of money, you know, 50, 60K, whatever the case was. But had it been someone like ourselves that was selling these policies, and not even selling them to people, just changing their lives with these policies, instead of that, it would have been like, listen, hey son, I'm just going to give you this $250,000 right now. Could have bought the first house cash. You know what I mean?
True.
He could have took some money. And best believe, for my son, he has one of these policies already. He's 14 now.
Absolutely.
He has one of these. And best believe, in like 15, 20 years from now, I'm either on some little rough times or I want to retire a little better. Best believe I'm taking out of my son's policy. I might take a cool 50, 60K out and be like, you can keep the rest, but I'm going to take a little something for myself.
Right,
you know?
Right. Absolutely.
Which is important.
That is important, and teaching them too. So like educating them as we go through the process, and him understanding it even at the age of 14 is very imperative to him, because these seeds that we're planting for our kids now, it's just going to take them further in life, right?
Absolutely. Who's that joined on? Tawanda, hey T, how you doing?
Hey Tawanda.
No, it's super important, because it's like these policies can really be used for tools to help us throughout life. And it's like once you get one, you might get two. And it's so affordable once you get approved and we get them at a young age for these kids. It can really help guide and help everybody, even us with a rainy day.
Right.
And let's talk about why are they so affordable, because they invest the money that we put in, just like a 401k and all that type of stuff. And we know life insurance is about risk. Right. And so kids are not risky when in terms of living a long life or they recover real quick from injuries. So that's why their policies are dirt cheap, and you leave that money in there. And so you leave it in there for a long period of time, it develops the cash a lot faster.
Right.
You know what I mean? At a cheaper rate. That's why they're so cheap. It's not magic. It's not trick. There's always a catch. But the catch is that the bank is going to make money off it. These companies that they're putting the money into, they're making money off it. Just like the bank makes money off of you for 0.05 on a dollar. Meaning that you got your regular bank, well, let me not name names, but you got your regular bank accounts out there. And then, you know, you have your $2,000 check that goes in there every deposit, and you're getting 0.0005 off that interest. Versus something like this, you could get up to potentially up to 17-20% of interest on it, which is crazy.
Right.
So imagine a lot of people having this in their back of the repertoire. And imagine setting your kid up.
Exactly. And you speaking of that, and me just thinking, like, you know, instead of us going out, and I'm thinking maybe like grandparents or godparents and stuff. And, you know, I was even thinking about this for my own. Hey, Kay. You know, I got a couple of different goddaughters, you know, that's in my life. Like, this would be a great gift, because think about it. Instead of paying monthly, you can pay your gift to your grand or your godchildren or your niece or your nephew at such a young age. That can be their gift for Christmas. Pay it off the first full year. With them being so young, healthy, the policy is going to be inexpensive. You can still take that policy out for your grand, your niece, or whatever, and you just be the payer. It'll still be in the parent's name, because the guardian has to take the policy out, but you can fund it, at least for the first year. So imagine just funding, like, my gift to you is starting off your IUL policy.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. Let's simplify that. First off, stop spoiling these kids. That's one of the stories. And how many gifts you get from a bunch of family for kids where you got your 5-year-old where you get them a little car, they play with it for 2 minutes and then they throw it away.
True.
So to your point, imagine a situation where you as a parent, like, listen, all right, I'm actually going to get the gift this year. Everybody that's going to give my little baby a gift, don't give us a gift, give us money. And that money accumulates to $1,000 or $2,000. And guess what? Most of these parents anyway grandparents, friends, they get gifts ranging from $50 to $300-400.
Yep.
That could quickly add up to $2,000, and it's be like, hey, I'm just gonna pay for your whole life insurance policy, and you help fund their policy.
Yep.
And you know what that comes with? When I'm that uncle that do that, I got to say, guess what? You know that policy that you got? I gave you money every year. Let me hold a quick 20,000 real quick. That's what that also does.
Facts. But that, it's changing the mindset. As a culture, and again, breaking those cycles. Like, we should think long-term investments. Yes, it's nice to get our kids the things that they want, electronics and toys and stuff. But like Ross said, how long are they going to play with that? Toys and stuff like that. Give them a gift of a policy, or like he said, just if y'all going to give money, take that money and put it into something. People do CDs. I don't know if that's still a popular thing now. I've heard of, people doing CDs for their kids. Why not a life insurance policy that's gonna help them in the long run, right?
And the thing about it, though, this might be, and I don't like to use the word better, but like a different option instead of a CD.
Right.
And think about it. It's a lot of opportunities. And I know life is so busy, so we never think about these things with these life insurance policies and how they can help. But think about that. Like, your kid has a birthday, Christmas, them little Boy Scout, instead of doing all those stupid boys, that's not stupid.
Yeah.
But little Boy Scout girl cookies and all that type of stuff, and making the schools all this money. Imagine if you took those 4 or 5 occasions, you could easily pay for your policy. Like, hey, fam, she's not going to participate in Girl Scout this year. Let me get the money to put into their life insurance policy. Birthday time, birthday gifts. All right, just give me the money for birthday gifts. You can see me put it in the policy. Write a check out to me. I promise you, and I'll show you the proof I put in the policy.
Right.
And that is the greatest gift you can give a child, where you secure their future and you secure their lifestyle at every checkpoint of their life.
Absolutely.
Whether they're going to college. Listen, even Sweet 16, if you do it early enough, you might be able to do, remember that show Sweet 16 on TV? Like, be able to put a little down payment. I ain't get my kid no Benz, not doing that, even when I got to it. But, crazy. A little $5,000-10,000, put on a little nice, decent car, you know what I mean? Like, that's a checkpoint. 18 going to college, a checkpoint. Having a kid is a checkpoint. Now, we're not saying keep borrowing money and taking money out. That's not what we're saying.
Exactly.
But we're saying maybe 1 or 2 checkpoints, it can really help out, whether they're buying their first major purchase for a house, or, they're going to college, things that's going to change their life forever. And then when they retire, they can retire. And guess what? They can leave that policy for their kids.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how much money that can be spread across.
Right.
And imagine you teach your kid that, and they hit the 18, 19, 20, I'm going to force you with your first job to get a policy for yourself on your own. So they have 2 policies now.
Exactly.
And maybe you get 2 for them. That's a lot of money. And then when they had their first little kid, they repeat the same process.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And now, when time goes away and you also get a policy for the house, had the house paid off, and you're walking away with $1 million or $2 million.
Exactly.
That's how generational wealth is created, not like the commercials and all this on social media. Generational wealth and just tipping you nonsense. That's literally how it's done.
Yes.
Over time.
Yes. Like, so Kay said here in the comments, high yield savings accounts, IRAs, life insurance policies. Exactly. Let's not mistake, leave out high yield savings accounts. Like Ross said, in a regular bank, you're not growing interest in your savings account. It's 0.01%. At least in a high yield savings account, you can get up to 4.3, some even higher than that. Many different high yield savings accounts that's out there. There's a lot of banks that have it. That's another thing. IRAs, all of that works. All of that. Judy says long-term investments for the next generation of future entrepreneurs. Yes, Auntie. Yes, Auntie.
And I happen to know Auntie Judy. She may be related to me.
Right.
But she's on point. Like, she's the perfect example of retirement. Like, she literally goes to little Broadway shows and all that type of stuff.
I love it.
But it was some proper planning from day one. She's not rich, so don't come after us. But proper planning, that's how it looks like, where you're able to actually retire and do the things you want. And do the things when you were a kid that you always wanted to, wanted to do, but you forgot. Whether it's something as simple as painting, you want to be a painter or be a fake musician, whatever you wanted to do when you were a kid.
Musician,
At this point, you know, you old, you can't sing. But I'm just saying, you get a chance to relive your life and, you know, take a vacation here and there.
Yeah.
Give your grandkids a little random gift. You know what I mean? Be able to travel and go see your grandkids if they're in a different state. Those are the proper steps where these type of policies and proper planning over time, it's not overnight, people. Over time, you can prepare your kid for the best situation and yourself.
And for the people who may be hesitant about this or don't see it, because you know sometimes we have this microwave mentality, right? Where we need the money now, and sometimes we have to think about a long-term investment. You know, setting yourself up for the future, short-term goals, long-term goals, and this is something that is a long-term investment. It's not something that you can get right away, but that takes a mindset for people to even look into investments like that, because sometimes you know people just need it right now. But if you think about the future, it benefits you, it benefits your child, it benefits you as a whole. Not only that, you're changing their mindset, getting out of the same pattern that families and generations prior had. Remember, it's all about breaking generational cycles. Each generation should be doing better than the generation prior.
And it's really about, you know, like you said, to piggyback on what you said, planning for today while preparing for tomorrow.
Right.
While preparing for when you retire. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
All those three phases. And we said with $200, with these policies as low as $50, $40 a month, you know, or $400 for a year. The policies are low as that, and they'll perform. You know, you won't get as much money. Instead of walking away 1.5 with a policy like that, you might only walk away with $400,000, but $400,000 or $500,000 is a lot of money.
Right.
So you can always afford it. And the great thing about these policies is that you can adjust based off where you're at in your life.
Exactly.
So this year you might be, all I can afford is $400 at the end of the year, 1 year, one-time payment, or $40 a month, or whatever's easier. But next year you might be like, I got that nice chunky raise. I got that new job finally. Now I can slap 150.
Right.
And then honestly, the following name, be like, listen, they cut back on my pay and the bills went up. I got to drop it back down to $70 a month. Before you can fluctuate based off where you're at in your life. So it's not something where it's a hard commitment. And let's face it, like we got all these stuff that we pay for all the time. All these, how many times you go to McDonald's a week? You know what I mean? You telling me people on an average family that goes to McDonald's spends like $150 a month on McDonald's? Like, come on, like. There's ways where we can pull a little $10 here, $20 here. And if you can't, you go back to what we said before, have everybody else in their family.
Yes.
That, my baby's so cute. You know you need a little $50 for his life insurance policy. Go ahead and do it that way. If you can't have the discipline to do it, make other people pay for it.
I mean, because let's keep it real. These days, these kids are not playing with toys anyway. Right?
You know what? That's true, though. All they on is just their tablet and their devices.
Exactly. So it's like each year you're trying to think about what am I going to do for my child for Christmas or birthdays. Like they have everything. Everybody is into technology and stuff nowadays. So why not give the gift that keeps on giving? That's helping them in their long-term investment at an early age. But you said something that I want to go back to that it may be a misconception or people just don't know when you said about the payments for the policy and how this particular policy you could fluctuate on if you have it. Like, you know, starting off small and then maybe increasing it the following year, and then it's just a rough time, but you can go back. Can you kind of like go? Because I don't think I've ever even heard that part of it either. So let the people know that it can be done.
Yeah. So say, for example, your policy, your basic policy, $40 a month. You know, and then like you said, next year you go to $100, and the next year you're going on rough times. All you have to do is simple call to either us, the agents, or the company directly. Listen, I want to reduce my policy payments down to a lower amount. They will allow you to do that.
See?
It's just a phone call away. But with technology ways going, you probably just do it online, and you can do it online too as well.
I'm sure.
So you have all those three options where you can control everything. Now, you know, they don't want you switching it every 2 seconds.
Right.
But you can still do it multiple times throughout the year. So it's extremely flexible. And there's no penalty to do that.
Y'all hear that?
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
You can't. That and for a long time. This some good stuff.
Yeah, no, it is.
Good. This is good. This is good. And, you know, as we're on here every Monday, dropping different gems, trying to educate the people the importance of life insurance, the different types of policies, how you can leverage it, all things finance with us. That pretty much ties it up for what we have today.
Yeah.
You can always contact us on any of our social media platforms. We're also on YouTube. Our website is legacybuildersus.com. Please reach out to us. Anything else?
The last piece I want to touch on real quick that I forgot about that's key. Sometimes life insurance is about risk, and they collect that information to get you approved. Sometimes if you're a parent, the cost may be too high, or it may be beneficial to get a policy on your kid because it's gaining more cash faster at an affordable rate. Meaning that your policy might be $300 a month, but your kid's policy might be $100 a month. So you can actually get a policy in the kid's name instead to get those extra cash gains. So your kid is an investment. With life insurance, a policy on the kid is actually an investment. And last time I checked, most parents, they put money into their kids, they don't get nothing out of it. Imagine a product where both of you get something out of it while investing in your kid versus the old school way of just, I gotta buy them toys, I'll buy them this, pay for their car, pay for this, and at the end of it, all you got is a bill. Just more bills and more bills, and then they stay with you for till 25, 30, they come, they go, they always taking. But you can actually make some money off them. That's a great thing. That's the only last piece I wanted to say, one other advantage of it. But no, to your point, definitely go to our website, book an appointment, at least get a quote to see how much it costs. That doesn't hurt, and then we could tell you the different types of policies and stuff like that. There's way more stuff. So keep watching the show. We're going to come up with different products, explain different products. It's something for everyone. So yeah, that's all we got right now. We got any events coming up? New York, right? Yeah.
So New York this weekend, you guys, Queens.
Queens, yeah. Game night on Friday in Queens, New York. DM us for information. Check out our pages. It's all on the flyer. We're going to game night is free. Drinks and food on us. We just want you to come out, have a good time. We're gonna have a whole bunch of games. From dominoes to Connect Four, Lyrically Correct. We're just gonna have a good time. Just instead of going to happy hour, spending your money, come to our game night and spend our money. Right. You can't beat that,
And that's to our people that's in New York. This Saturday, I'll be representing Legacy Builders at a networking event at Sarah's on the River in Bloomfield. One of our partners, Rashida, and she's doing something there from 12 to 3. Please come out to that. We'll have a table there. Let's just support all entrepreneurs there. Just come out. That's free. There's no price to it. So Saturday, is it Sarah's by the park or Sarah's by the river? It's in Bloomfield. The Old Elizabeth's.
Somebody named Sarah. That's all I know.
Yeah, the Old Elizabeth's. Come out this Saturday. Check us out between 12 and 3.
Perfect. All right. So that's it tonight, guys. Comment, like, repost, reshare. Yes. Reach out to us if you have any questions, but definitely comment and like on the page, on the replay.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.